before we kick off school, and I am doing some deep cleaning. So one of the last things on the list for today was knocking out the refrigerator. Base moldings, window seals, dust and blinds, things like that I don't do every single time I clean. I'm doing today. Refrigerator was one of those. You can see that I have been taking row by row apart and cleaning it out. I have 2 other refrigerators in the garage we're going to do because I want to get this stuff knocked out before we start school. Typically do this right when school ends, right when school starts back, and at least once or twice during the school year. And speaking of school, I have not shown y'all some of the things I've been doing in the schoolroom. You see the banner all the way across the schoolroom. That was something fun I did several weeks ago, along with getting a globe, adding some more decorations. I also added, this goes along with our Bible study that we add into our curriculum. Last year we just pulled it out and looked at it periodically, but I added it to our board this year so that we could see more of a timeline of the things that we're studying, more maps, more decorations. Trying to get a little bit more creative this year. We got a shelf from Walmart for like $49 to add more space in our school closet. This is our school closet where we store our books. It will have to be reorganized before we start again. I have my school books way back over here in this corner. The kids' school books are stacked up in each cubby. So Aiden's, Harley's, Eliza's, Selah's on the bottom. We have our things like our containers with the names written on them. They have pencils, colors, markers. I also have, this is our Bible study book that we use. We use one called God's Great Covenant. I went through and told y'all the different books that we're doing. So the first one that we're doing is North American Birds. I also have this pack of DVD collections for the younger kids. The math facts ones, these are division, multiplication. Those are for the older ones. Addition, subtraction, learning numbers. This one, which is a preschool prep collection. Letters, numbers, shapes, colors, sight words, and phonics. But that is going to be all extra time stuff. That is not our main school stuff. So we have gotten the schoolroom, kind of added some extra spunkiness to the room, just to make it feel more inviting and comfortable. Our school books are all done and set up. We are doing the last bit, cleaning out, organizing again, deep cleaning to prepare for school, because I cannot believe the summer is already come and gone. It's a little mind-blowing. I just don't know where the summer went, but we're getting ready for that. I've got to get the refrigerator put back together, and then we're going to move on to outside things. We've also been making elderberry syrup this morning. If you guys are not familiar with elderberry syrup, it is a big deal here. That is a gallon worth of elderberry syrup. We drink it very routinely, especially when we know that sickness is going around in our area, or we have been exposed to somebody who's been sick or whatever. Elderberry syrup is our best friend. So if you're not familiar with how to do that, I do have a video on that. Y'all be sure to check it out. We'll post it up above. Very simple and easy to make, and very, very effective and healthy as well. I am headed with my big pot that I got from the hardware store. It's a really huge tin pot. My basil. I know I need to harvest some today, and I'm headed out first by our sets of tomatoes. We planted marigolds and basil along the sides of those. I'll show you a clip of that. They're already starting to go to flower, so I'm going to go harvest all the tops off of our basils that are over here first. I don't want them to set flower just yet, so I'm going to go in and harvest as much as I can. Even the ones that have some flowers on the top, They're fine to harvest and put with your basil. They're actually just as flavorful as the leaves themselves. Here's some basil that's trying to set flower and seed right here. So I'm just gonna come in on this plant and come to about right here. And I'm gonna snip this whole top off and leave this other section down below it. All of this now will grow up into these. You see what I'm doing is I'm leaving a set of leaves down here under my scissors, taking the top, and all of these leaves will grow up and become these leaves. So I have this whole row of basil to do here. Then I have to head over to some of my other beds and in our new section of gardens that I'll be doing. I'll be coming and getting all this basil today. I got a nice harvest off of this side. Now I'm off to the spot. I had some extra basil. I didn't want to put all in the same place, so I have some more plants that are right here on this row. I'm about to harvest these. I'm in the way. Here we go. Back here, I'm about to harvest these down a good bit, probably 4 to 6 inches off of all of these. It's a good idea to only take about 40% of your plant. You don't want to take any more than that and stress it. But harvesting is a great thing because when you take from your plant, you're actually stimulating growth, but you don't want to take too much. I'll have to go up there to those big beds and get the rest of the basil from up there. So here's my chives. I have another chive right there, and I have one right here. So I'm also going to be harvesting off of that as well. Here is a parsley here, and it's got some good new growth on it down here from where I harvested last time. I have a few of those. Now what I do with all of my herbs that I'm getting from out here right now, so I will take all of these herbs. You guys saw my big bucket. I will take them in. I have a salad spinner. I'm going to put them down in that salad spinner, wash them off really well, spin all the water off of them, pop them in my dehydrator for about 24 hours, sometimes 30 hours. Then I will take them out. I have a grinder variety in that grinder. Spin it around to a powder, stored in a mason jar, season chickens, porks, sausages, fish, anything that you can think of. Sometimes I have put it in potato salads. I have put it in different fruits and dips, all kinds of stuff. Y'all, the sky is the limit. Not that hard to do, but it is work to do. But it's a blessing to be able to do that. And I just noticed, I'm excited about this, first year chamomile. So I am so excited about that. I planted some last year and did not have very much luck. And it seems like this plant and these, like I have some back here, but it just seemed like they have stayed small forever. So I have one more putting off a flower right here, and one more putting off a flower right here. So our very own chamomile, that is exciting. I also have other things like oregano. Here, oregano. Tarragon is here. Lemongrass is here. More peppers. These are the other peppers that I was telling you guys about. All of this is behind my strawberries. Marigolds. This marigold plant has done very well. However, those over there have not. Have a few strawberries too. Our strawberries are kind of starting to play out. I'm not getting as many as I was. It is interesting to see though what has done well over here and what has not. Two other things I want to show y'all. These are things that I propagated, which means I took a plant from a plant. So I made a plant from a plant. Rosemary, I have a carpet rosemary and a stand up, I don't actually know what the specific name for it is, but it grows more of like a tree. And I have a carpet rosemary, which is kind of like a ground cover. So hiding under this pepper plant that is tilted over is a rosemary. Now it has grown, it looks great. It was only about this tall, so it has grown tremendously. It looks so good. This was a rosemary that I took from a cutting. I basically just come in and took a cutting, stripped those leaves off, dropped it down in some water. It started sprouting roots. As soon as I got good roots established, I come over here and popped it in the ground. So that is one of the rosemaries. I have another one just like this in the bed that I just come from over by the greenhouses. So here's the mother plant to that. And you can see that it grows out and more down on the ground. See, I have roots here from that limb actually rooting itself in the ground. And this would establish here and grow up to make a whole new plant. So we call this carpet rosemary. It's very big. It can grow to be very big. It's very beautiful and it smells amazing. My pot is literally overflowing, and every time I move it, it falls out. I believe this is going to completely fill up the dehydrator. If it doesn't, I'll come back out later and probably pick one more herb to take in and wash and put in the dehydrator. But I'm pretty sure this is going to fill up my Excalibur completely. It is a huge container. So that is a blessing to be able to have that much basil on farm and come out and harvest at one time. Now I will be able to come back out probably in a week and get just as much basil. I have quarts of basil that I have harvested and dehydrated in the years past. This year is going to be no different. I didn't think I was going to get this much from the smaller plants that I was showing y'all behind the strawberries a while ago, because they're not as big, so I can't take as much. But I guess it was so many of them that I really underestimated how much I was going to get. I was not able to get all of my basil in. I had a little too much. So what we are doing is making some basil lemonade. So I have made this before and it's really good. This is a cup of water, a cup of sugar, and probably about a cup and a half of basil. I warmed up the water, dissolved the sugar, and put my basil over in there. I'm gonna leave that covered. A cup of lemon juice, well actually Ellie put a little bit more lemon juice, probably about a half a gallon of water. Then when our basil syrup gets done, we will put a strainer over our pitcher and strain off the basil, but let the flavor from the basil that's in the syrup, the sweet syrup, go over into the lemonade, and that is basil lemonade. It is really, really good. So that was one of the things we did with the leftover. I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do with the rest. I know we're making pizza tonight, so I am gonna incorporate some pineapple and basil on the pizza, and I will still have a little bit left over. But what a good blessing that you have more than you know what to do with.